T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Hello, hi there, I'm here. Yeah, it's a football Friday. I just forgot something. It was a little out of my reach. But we're coming at you from the colder than I'd like Golden Ticket Sports Center. Last show of the winter in Canada here on the Game Plus Television Network. In hour two, we'll be rolling into Nevada as well as on Game Plus, but also the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. It's a football Friday. Let's get this out of the way. A lot of football talk here today on your favorite daytime sports talk show. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that nobody else is across Canada. Hi, Kevin the Medium joining us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. What up, Kev?
How's it going there, young fella?
As I said, get a little colder than I would care for. I'm sure you don't care. Well, mind you, you're going to the Dominican Republic, so you get it. When are you boarding the plane going to the Dominican Republic?
We leave at 3:30 this afternoon. We head to Toronto overnight in Toronto, and then to the Dominican in the morning.
Okay. Well, time's a waste. Let's go. Let's get down to business. This is a very quick segment here as we roll in the warm-up with a quick six show topics. We're going to open with the National Football League. And, yes, I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys jacket today because I'll never jump off the bandwagon of my team. But Week 14 of the NFL is underway. Jahmyr Gibbs rushed for 3 touchdowns in the Detroit Lions' 44-30 victory over the Dallas Cowboys at Ford Field in Detroit last night. His last touchdown was a 13-yard run with just over 2 minutes to go that sealed the victory. And Detroit avoided losing consecutive games for the first time in more than 3 years. I'm opening with the NFL because it is the National Football League. It's December, and it's my team. It's the Cowboys, and I'll just say this. People were writing me saying about the officiating. The Cowboys got jobbed. I'm like, no, they weren't very good. They got motorboated in the game. They teased us late. But I'll just say, for the first quarter, I was driving and listening to it, coming back from a meeting, and Ross Tucker on the radio broadcast, Westwood One, was going, that was the most terrible throw I've ever seen Dak Prescott throw. He threw it 5 yards out of bounds. Dak threw 2 picks. He was sacked 5 times, and the Dallas Cowboys are what we thought they were. So I'm still wearing my gear. I'm that fan, Kev. You were wearing a Vancouver Canucks jersey yesterday. You don't abandon your team, but it doesn't look like we're going to make the playoffs. I didn't think we were going to. So I'm not affected by that today at all. Did you watch any of it?
I watched the entire game knowing that we were going to talk about it today, and it came down to Dallas just made way too many mistakes. Yes, there were some questionable penalties, but way too many mistakes and way too many dumb penalties.
Well, yeah, the deep gainer to George Pickens that came back because of a hands-to-the-face call on the offensive line. It was offsetting penalties, but they still took the play off the board. They replayed the down. There was the safety in the end zone that was reversed, but had we, i.e. Dallas, kicked off following a safety, we would have pinned him deep. Didn't happen. We ended up giving up a 47-yard touchdown drive. Nothing went Dallas's way, and to be honest, I'm going to flip over to hockey here right away. One of the few times we'll talk hockey here today. But everybody's bitching about officiating coming out of last night's game. Cowboys fans and the media. In the NHL, John Cooper was upset. He said the reversal of a call down there was laughable in Tampa Bay. The Panthers had issues with officiating. And I'm not going to talk about those NHL teams at all because they cover the Panthers and the Lightning. But I will say this. Bad teams complain about officiating. I'm not saying that, not in the case of this specific case of the Lightning and the Panthers, but the teams that just take their lumps, maybe they feel that it was officiated and cost them a game, but they don't say it.
Yes. Wally Buono once said, if you put yourself in a position to have a referee cost you a game, that's on you, not on the referee.
Boom. First Wally Buono reference of the day. Count them. Ding. There will be more. And actually, I'm going to spoiler alert. My mom always said, Kev, and you know Lisa, my coach in Florida, she says, you're getting reflective up there in Canada this week. I said, yes, I am. I'm thinking a lot about my parents who aren't with us, are not with us anymore. But my mom had all these sayings, and one thing she said was, youth is wasted on the young, you know.
Yes.
I should have a board of all her sayings. And so John Bender, the former Calgary Stampeders and Nevada Wolfpack lineman who was on this show recently, was speaking of John Hufnagel. Trust me, everybody, we're going to get to the Huff news that he's going to the Argos. But he said John Hufnagel is the greatest coach and GM in Calgary sports history. And the thing with the bold takes is maybe, maybe not, but have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Wally Buono? Ding!
Ding.
Like with the Flames, you help me out, Calgary. Like I'm sure there have been coach and GM combos, but in '89, I think of Terry Crisp and Cliff Fletcher. Daryl Sutter did both, but he didn't win anything. Like, so my point is, John, I don't even know if John's 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like with everybody, I'm in Saskatchewan right now with everybody parading around. Corey Mace this, AJ Ouellette that. I'm like, y'all are acting like it was the first Grey Cup they've ever won. We won too. Hi. Youth is wasted on the young, Kev.
It is. And the sooner the youth realize that, the better off us old folks will be.
Yeah, but they won't until they're old.
They won't.
NHL, by the way, quickly, if we have time. The Edmonton Oilers' potent offense seems to have returned. They routed the Seattle Kraken 9-4 Thursday night, so they're all good up in Edmonton. And the Flames upset the Minnesota Wild 4-1 in the Saddle Dome. I did not see that coming. I was 3 of 10 with my picks last night. I sucked. But what'd you say? We had 2 minutes? Okay, very quickly, Kev. It's all good. Kev, I'm sorry, I'm just talking to producer Corey. Have you heard any rumors out of Vancouver about Dale Talon being named the general manager, or that they're desirous of having Dale Talon be the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks? Have you heard this?
I have not. That's
okay.
Big news to me.
I know. Well, maybe in the break, if you have time, I should have prepped you for this. But the thing is, I was talking to my sponsor, Bob, this morning. He saw something on Instagram that really upset him. I said, are you sure it wasn't AI? Are you sure it wasn't fake news? You know, like I never really know what to believe anymore. I don't think any of us know what to believe. And I saw a clip out of Vancouver Sports Media from yesterday that Dale Talon's name has come up as the next general manager of the Vancouver Canucks. And I don't even know. I was at Sportsnet 650 radio in Vancouver. I don't even know who it was or where. Again, the cue that I'm old. I don't know what to trust anymore. But do a quick Google search. Dale Talon, they tell me, was the original Vancouver Canuck. He was their first ever draft pick. You know Dale. Yeah. He goes to every single Florida Panthers game. I'd like to say that he is a friend of mine. So that's what's percolating out of Vancouver. So I'm just dropping that bomb before we take our first break, and we'll come back with a rash of CFL news, more NFL and call it. We got a lot to get through today. So we'll be back in a moment. I will tell you that we are live on the Game Plus Television Network. You can reach us here at 902-518-3033, Western Dodge text line, and we'll be right back.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
All right, welcome back, everybody, on a Football Friday. The show's got energy. We've come in with heat, and I appreciate that. Oh, not that much heat, though. It is cold here in Moose Jaw. It's getting colder. My buddy Brent from Wellington, Florida, has written in. He says, sunny and 28 Celsius here today, pal. Trust me, Brent. I know. Kevin and I were just talking about it before we went to air, and producer Corey. It'll be sunny and 28 when I land there on Sunday, God willing, on time on my United flights going through Denver. Kev, we're brought to you in part, as you know, by Pump Jack Steakhouse and Saloon. Been going around visiting our sponsors. I stopped in Pump Jack's yesterday. They're too busy to chat, Kev. That's a good thing. Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Kirby, I love when my Florida community tunes in. Kirby from the Cats and Rats podcast, where he covers the Florida Panthers. He writes in, he's a Cowboys fan. I'm going to get Kirby on the air here next week. He says, let's focus on drafting the defensive side of the ball. 80%-ish of all draft picks should focus there, period. Yeah, well, we had one in Micah Parsons, and we traded his ass to Green Bay when he dared stand up to Jerry Jones. Don't get me going on a Friday. We had the guy, and we pitched it away. And last night, we were exposed. I'm ready for the weekend, man. I am ready for the weekend. You're right. It's just that cowboy is just bubbling just right under the surface with me. I'm like a duck on the pond, man. I just look smooth, and then I watch the Cowboys, and it just paddling like crazy underneath. Okay.
So, like an irrational fan.
Stop it. What's funny, because that very same Brent from Wellington, I was watching the Grey Cup with him in his living room, and I was like squeezing a pillow, rolling around, jumping up and down, throwing it. He's like, "Who are you?" Okay, well, on that vein, because it is the Canadian hour of the show. And thank you to his lovely partner, Bree, for sending me photos from the Panthers game last night where they lost their 5th straight at home. Yeah, things aren't that great in our sports world right now. But Kev said a lot of CFL news, so let's get to that. It is the Canadian hour of the show. And to be honest, I don't give 2 Twinkies about the World Cup draw. I don't. Everybody else is talking about it, not me. There are a couple of big moves highlighted a busy day in the CFL on Thursday. The Saskatchewan Roughriders signed pending free agent quarterback Trevor Harris, the Grey Cup MVP. The only thing surprising about that was that it was only 1 year. So we'll come back on that. And John Hufnagel is heading to Toronto as an advisor after a successful 17-year run in Calgary as coach and general manager. And on cue, on the Western Dodge text line, Kirk in Calgary writes it. He says, "Hi, Rod. Kirk here. I met John Hufnagel at BMO Field years ago during an Argo Stamps game. I said you would look better in double blue. He just looked at me and smiled. We're both smiling now." So I guess I wasn't totally out of the loop, Kev. That news just dropped yesterday morning before we went to air. So the fact that I missed it, I'm not a complete noob.
No, it was kind of snuck in the morning just before we went on the air. Obviously, I'm up here in Calgary, and it's huge news here. It's the only time the Stamps have been in the news at all in the offseason in years. Hufnagel was on the 770 AM, and he said the biggest hurdle he's going to have to face with going to Toronto is painting his boat, because right now his boat is red and white with a horse on it.
Well, listen, what do we look at? The Vancouver Canucks, the rumor is they're going to bring in what I think is 73-year-old Dale Talon. He's around their age. The Argos are bringing in Huff. You got Belichick doing his thing. Like, it's old guys rule, baby. But I thought Hufnagel was done. Looks like you have something to say on that. Go ahead.
Dale Talon rumor has been quashed. Elliot Friedman threw it out there as more of a ha ha ha, and it took off because Elliot Friedman is Elliot Friedman. And he went on 650 apparently and said, no, I just started that rumor. It's not really true. So you know how that works. One person says something and it just goes. I had Jake do some research on it. Jake's watching, by the way. So Jake, if you can find us more information on it, please do.
From the Hughes Sports podcast, Jake and Kevin Hughes. There you go. So anyways, they could do a lot worse than hiring Dale Talon as their general manager. And to be honest, Dale would probably do it. Listen, it's a football Friday, but I will tell you that Dale does not get credit for what he should, and that's building the Chicago Blackhawks, Stanley Cup champions, and the Florida Panthers. But I digress. He's a very close friend of mine, and I don't want to go any further than that, other than his mom is from Momart, Saskatchewan. Okay. Bill in Toronto. Well, Bill's from Toronto. He lives in Regina now. He says, it sounds like Rod should have had decaf this morning. I'll never have decaf. My mom always drank it. I'm like, why are you drinking that? Anyways, the comments are coming in like crazy, and it's fun. It is fun. It's a fun, punchy day. Rob is watching in Las Vegas. He writes, and he says, former LA Rams and UFL MVP quarterback Bryce Perkins has signed with the Blue Bombers. And Brent goes on to say, if you haven't heard a rumor by 10 a.m., start your own. Well, Lancaster used to say in Regina, if you haven't heard a rumor by noon, they start one. And it ain't noon here yet. But back to the Hufnagel thing. Is he the greatest coach and GM in Calgary sports history? Now, John Bender said that, the former Stamps lineman and Nevada Wolfpack. And to be honest, I'm going to be honest, it's not a long list. Calgary, historically, is an NHL and CFL town, as is Edmonton, as is Winnipeg, as was Toronto and Montreal for years and years and years. You know, that's what we all grew up with. But when you sit and think about it, like in Edmonton, it's easy. It's Glenn Sather. Stop. Done.
Yes.
Hugh Campbell doesn't even come into the conversation, and he should. But it's Glenn Sather. Slats. Edmonton. Easy. Calgary, just not a long list. And to me, it's Wally, but I'm not.
Wally, Hufnagel. I mean, I'm just thinking CFL, but you got, like you said, you got the 89. Who was the GM in 89?
Cliff Fletcher.
I mean, those would be the top three that would come to mind, wouldn't it be?
And it ain't a long list. And to be honest, when you're talking coach and general manager combo, that's highly, highly rare. And, you know, in Vancouver, the Canucks never won a Stanley Cup. I mean, you could sit back and say who's the best they've ever had, but what's the point? You know, who would you say is the best coach Vancouver's ever had, by the way? Roger Nielsen?
Pat Quinn.
Pat Quinn? Okay, fine.
Yeah. I know probably Jake would probably say Nielsen. I say Quinn.
Yeah. Well, so Jeff, the Stamps fan who tunes in every day, Priority One viewer, I appreciate his input. He says it's 1A and 1B with Huff and Wally. Bender didn't work with Buono. That's my point. To quote my mom, youth is wasted on the young. you get to this age where you get all this wisdom, and then nobody gives a shit what you know. Nobody asks.
And when they do, they don't believe you.
No, they don't believe you. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're old.
Right?
Oh, God. Welcome to all of our world here in this demographic. But, back to the Huff thing. I mean, I've never really understood what was going on in Calgary, and I don't mind saying it. Like Craig Dickinson called me in the springtime. I was in Florida, and I said, "Is Huff? Is he around or is he not around?" And if you know Craig Dickinson, he's like, "Well, Rod, he's not going to be around this year." Oh, okay. But then what's the coverage, Kev, in the last 24 hours? Hufnagel leaving Stampeders for Toronto Argonauts. And I'm seeing all these loving videos, which frankly, yes. I love Huff. I wanted to tell some Huff stories. That man is cooler than the other side of your pillow. He is cool as hell, John Hufnagel. But I'm like, why are you making these loving goodbye things? And why is that the headline if he wasn't involved in Calgary? I feel like Huff had to have been involved. But I don't know. I wasn't walking their hallways.
I think when the last time I talked to Jay, the president, Jay McNeil, he had said Huff has been one of his biggest mentors. And when he had kind of a question or ran into a situation he didn't know how to handle, he was on the phone to Huff. Huff was that advisor. I think that's the same role he's going to be playing in Toronto. He's still going to live here in Cochrane. It's going to be mostly Zoom meetings and whatnot for him. So, I mean, come on. He was here for 18 years straight? Of course, they're going to give him tributes. And so they should. 18 years in sports with one team, that's unheard of.
Yeah, no, it is unheard of. And so, by the way, I don't mind. Actually, I love talking about it on a Friday. I didn't want to talk about it yesterday because I was all geeked up to talk about the National Hockey League and all. That's what I did. Is my show after all. But today on a Football Friday, I'm here for it. I absolutely am. Jason in Red Deer writes in. He says, I met Huff at FanFest this year, and he was so nice to talk to. His wife, too. Yeah, Sherry. They're great people. Kev, before you and I ever even knew each other, you would find this very funny. I was obviously spending a lot of time in Calgary. That's how you and I met. And so I was speaking at a banquet, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to bring a Rider jersey to the – I should have known that I should have brought a Rider jersey, to be honest, to an event in Calgary. But I called the Stamps. I don't remember how it worked. And Sherry Hufnagel, Huff's wife, gave me a Bo Levi signed jersey. I still have photos of it on my phone. And then she got hell from some people in the office going, you don't know. Well, she's just being a good Stamps gal, and she gave me the jersey, and I get to the event, and 80% of the people in the room are Rider fans, and they're like, why didn't you bring a Fajardo jersey? I'm like, well, they're like, why do you think we got you? I don't know why I don't know why anybody would. I don't know why anybody is watching right now. And then with Huff, like there was, he was wearing Calgary Airport. Some Rider fan sees Huff, stops him, puts his Rider hat on Huff, and says, can we take a picture together? And this is when Huff was still active as the coach and GM of Stamps. So that photo, of course, it gets sent to me. And I make this huge deal. Oh, Huff's posing in Rider gear. Oh, Huff's going to Sask. He called me. He's like, stop it. I'm just having fun. And he goes, I'm alumni. Yeah. I stopped to take a photo. I'm okay. But I mean, he gets me. I mean, he came down to Grey Eagle when we were doing the show. That was, before your time.
Before my time.
And we got along great. He was laughing his ass off. We had a great time. And then somebody in the Stamps office said this to Huff. They said, you and Rod really got along well. And he goes, Rod played nice today. But he appreciates my fire. Just like all of these CFL fans from the other teams that tune in. They like it. You know what I mean? Who else is doing it? Literally nobody. But anyways, I guess you've done more investigation of this than I have of Huff's role. So what are you saying? It's not going to be day-to-day? Is that what I have not delved into it.
From what I've heard, he is going to be the same as he did for Calgary. He's going to be the advisor. So he will be present via Zoom, I take it, for coaches' meetings. He will be the mentor to the head coach, the president. So, yeah, he's going to do pretty much the same thing he's been doing here for the last years, plural. And I think it's really going to help Toronto, to be honest. How can it not with his knowledge?
I got a hell of a lot of things to get to after the break. One more with Kevin the Medium. It's just there are a lot of guys that have screwed things up, and gals, frankly, in sports right now. And they're bringing in the OGs to fix it all. That's what they're doing. And I love it. I love it so much. Because I'm one of them. We will be back. Jim Barker, speaking of OGs, coming up in hour 2. Joe, 747, is going to help us with our NFL picks for Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. We'll be right back here on the Game Plus television network.
Are you ready? January 8th to 11th, it all goes down in Moose Jaw at the Yara Center. The Battle on the Prairies. NCAA rules. 25 elite teams. Alberta, Boston, Texas, Mexico, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. All under one roof. Come watch live. Tickets available right at the door. Pay-per-view will be available at ikslive.ca.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, it's a Football Friday, and we are hung up on just our third point of the Quick Six show topics, and that's okay because we're talking football. Kevin the Medium's with us and it's the last time he's getting with us for a while. He's going on a holiday to the Dominican Republic, and he may not come back. The text line is open, 902-518-3033. We're talking about Thursday's CFL news. Hey, Kev, no, I'm not putting it out there that you're not coming back. I'm just worried that you might not come back. You know why. We're talking about John Hufnagel leaving the Stampeders for the Argonauts. A villainous departure, rivaled only by Lane Kiffin, leaving from Ole Miss to LSU, which we'll spend a lot of time on in hour two. Wayne in BC writes in, and he says the John Hufnagel hire was surprising, mainly because of Huff's age. He's my age, and I've been retired for over 10 years. Wayne, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. My guess is you hated your job. Huff doesn't. Tony in Saskatoon writes in a novel. I love him, but I can't read it all. He says, good morning, Rod. Way to go, Riders, for bringing back Trevor Harris. Unpopular opinions now. One, as a Dallas fan, I love the dark blue jerseys of the Cowboys. Two, I hate when people say we when referring to their team. And let it go. Just let it go. He says, if I hit a nerve, so be it. Just had to get that off my chest. Oh, it was all about the Cowboys and how bad they suck. Listen, there's enough people in Dallas complaining about the Cowboys today. None of what happened last night surprised me. Yeah, we got problems. We were exposed on national television. Hi. So, you got some thoughts, Kev? On anything?
On anything?
I know I just dropped it in your mouth.
I have all kinds of thoughts. Did we hear what Trevor Harris was like? How much he signed for?
Oh, no.
No, because when Hatcher was signed, we heard it was a 2-year deal, $650,000, $125,000 signing bonus. What was Harris? Harris had to be more than that, would he not?
Well, I would say he's the Grey Cup MVP. I'd like to think he signed for $500,000-ish, $550. You know, what was he making? I mean, this is the thing that. I mean, it's the Rod Pedersen Show with Kevin Hughes co-hosting. We can say whatever we want, but it don't matter. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans, to quote my mom again. But I see this back and forth on Twitter about, Glenn Suter says why he doesn't think salaries should be made public. And Peter Diakowski agrees because it's embarrassing about what some guys make in the CFL. That's the biggest reason why it's not made public. So I guess life's about perspective. And when I worked in the CFL, it drove me nuts that the salaries weren't public because we're trying to report on the league. But now that I'm not working in the league daily, I don't really care. And it's just a back and forth. Yeah, go ahead.
It would give us pundits, for lack of a better word, we could talk more about the league if we knew, okay, we have X amount of salary cap. We're spending to there. Why aren't we spending there? And maybe that's why they don't want us to know. Or maybe it's because they're spending to there and the salary cap's down here, BC.
Yeah, see, I should have stopped at the bottom of the hour with the CFL talk because now I'm getting pissed off. And here's why. Because we could sit here and talk about what so-and-so makes and X makes. But then here's the thing. Nathan Rourke comes back from the NFL, signs for this amount, and we're all, okay. And all of a sudden, surprise from under the table, and he's making this amount in marketing money. What? What the hell is marketing money? So they make it up as they go, and it's very, very hard to report on.
It is.
For guys like us. So, what is the point of making the salaries public if you're going to do hocus pocus? What's under shell A, B, or C? I can't.
But didn't they, back in the day, they used to do personal contracts? I remember Flutie had a personal contract on top of his wage, right?
Yeah, so it didn't get paid. Yeah, which Seguche couldn't pay him for, or Larry Rickman, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
All the Dunnigan with Birmingham never got paid. It's funny because the 90s, I feel like I was quasi working in the league, like somewhat part-time, not full-time, but I was doing pre and post game shows, sidelines and stuff. But I looked at that as like the golden era, and every team had $1 million quarterback, right? Damon, whoever he was playing with at the time, if you want to use the U.S. Time, 94, 95, 96, whatever the years were, everybody had $1 million quarterback, but us in Saskatchewan, because we couldn't afford it. Right. And then Flutie would come in and kick our ass with the Argos, and Damon Allen would come in and kick our ass with whoever he was playing for. But dag nabbit, it was fun. And to be honest, there's a lot of league forefathers going back to the old farts that actually have been turned out to pasture that blow up my phone all the time. And they're like, we need to go back to that.
Yes.
And I don't think they're wrong.
We filled stadiums across Canada when back in the 90s. I mean, late 80s into the 90s, BC Place, 59,000 people.
What was wrong with that? Yeah, that's why I say the golden era. And actually, the financial golden era was the 2000s under Mark Cohen.
Yes.
You and I didn't know each other, but every stadium was bursting at the seams. The television ratings destroyed the NFL and rivaled the NHL in Canada. I was right in the throes of it. The games were airing on CBC, TSN, Sportsnet. And now where we are, fast forward 20 years, and the CFL has historically low popularity thanks to the Angus Reid poll. And yet I get the usual, Rod, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. TSN saved the league. Really? Because I feel like they destroyed the league in a lot of ways. But it was just easy to take the check and not put in the work, and now that's where they are. So that's why I don't really care. So if the people are pissed off, I also don't care. And by the way, the note that I was going to say before the break is this, back to these guys being brought in. Let me just say about 20 years, maybe 10 to 15 years ago, they brought in all these business guys to run the leagues and the networks and the teams, and they screwed it all up. They did. And I was just talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and I said, who's running that place over there that you're at? And he goes, blankety blank. I'm like, oh, the owner's kid? The guy that's never worked a day in the industry? Yep. I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, like at some point, you're going to need to bring in somebody that knows what they're doing. Let's just see how far this guy runs the train off the tracks and into the valley. Right?
Why do you think in the NHL they have director of hockey operations? Because you have a hockey guy running the hockey. You have a business guy running the business side, but you have a hockey guy running hockey.
Yeah.
Not an accountant running the CFL. It's dumb.
I mean, I don't really know, but I mean, when you have the sports guy that knows business, you got to win. Wade Miller, boom, Winnipeg, out of the park. Yes. Jim Hopson, same thing, and I'm sure it happens in hockey. I'm not totally sure. Jay McNeil is that in Calgary. I mean, he's trying. And in some cases, I think the train may have gone too far off the track. By the way, we less than 2 minutes with you, and I'll talk more about this after the break, but tell the viewers why I'm afraid that you will never come back from the Dominican Republic. I feel like you're not as worried as me, but there's a little bit of you that's worried.
You know what? We're excited about it, but we're both like, what have we done? We're staying in a treehouse. Now people are like, oh, it's a treehouse, so we'll have a door and walls. No. It's opened on 3 sides. It's in the middle of the jungle in the Dominican. It's an hour drive into the jungle, and it has 1 wall behind the bed. No hot showers, no lights. You have to wear a headlamp to get around in the evening. It has electricity, but just no lights. So, and they say you need to wear earplugs at night when you're trying to sleep because apparently the jungle comes alive in the evening. What possibly could go wrong?
Well, you may be making your last appearance on the RP show today, Kev. So I just will pray for you. I'll add you to my prayers and travel safe. And I know you'll be fine, but I won't see it for a while. And the viewers won't either. So thanks for your contribution. There will be no Hughes Sports podcast while you're away either, I would assume.
No, Jake's going to run with it. I think he's getting himself a better co-host, as he called me. or called the person coming in. I might be replaced. I don't know. We'll see you in a week or two.
All right. Safe travels, my friend. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, buddy.
Sports update, viewer takeover the rest of the way. Jim Barker and Joe 747 Gun is coming up in hour 2 as we talk football. The text line is open 902-518-3033. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Football Friday in the RP Show. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network across Canada and 32 U.S. states. How about this? On this streaming, we're live on YouTube as well. An account chimes in and says, the account is called Lions Today. It says, what up, Doe? Well, you came here to gloat? We covered it with point one of the Quick Six show topics. Thursday night football, the Detroit Lions motorboated my Dallas Cowboys 44-30, and I'll just say I'm emotionally detached from the Dallas Cowboys and have been for a couple of years now, so you can't show up here and gloat and affect me. But the Lions did look every bit of the team that won 15 games last year. So good luck in the playoffs. Hats off. We were by far the better team, and the Cowboys are who we thought they were. Wayne writes in from Winnipeg, and he says, it's interesting that Huff went to the Argos. Apparently, he and assistant GM John Murphy worked together in Calgary. Still not clear as to the connection. It's the league is small, just so you know. So, the headline of the Today Show was Toronto Huff. John Hufnagel is a Canadian sports legend, even though he's from Pennsylvania. So I get why everybody wants to talk about it today, and I'm certainly okay with it. Kirk from Toronto writes in. He says, John Hufnagel's going to love the Big Smoke. With all the beautiful lakes north of the city, the fishing is outstanding. I don't know. They say he's going to run it all from his home in Cochrane. It is 2025, by the way, and soon to be 2026. You can do that. Oh, with regards to Kevin staying in a clubhouse with no walls, barely a floor, full of mosquitoes and insects, Ken in Mississauga watching on Game Plus says it sounds like the old Iberwin Stadium. Actually, no. It sounds like Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa. 2003. I'm coming out of the press box after the game, wrapping up my 45-minute post-game show. Trying to get across the catwalk, and there are three of the biggest freaking raccoons you ever saw. They're the size of Shetland ponies. I'm not joking. I had to climb up the wall, scale it to get up and over these things. Wildlife in Frank Clair Stadium in Ottawa. Welcome to the Canadian Football League. I won't say it. I don't want to out somebody else. I did the other day on this show. There was no fallout. I don't want to do it again. Thank you, Tony in Saskatoon. He wrote in with the problems of the Dallas Cowboys. It was a novel. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys could fill a book the size of the New York City phone book, okay? So, yeah. Tony says, I wrote a novel to you today, Rod, because like you, I'm a novel guy. He says, hopefully the rest of the riders will come back for another Grey Cup run because this comes pretty good. Safe travels back to Florida, good sir, and thanks for all you do. Thank you for all you do, Tony, who's watching on Game Plus TV right now. But you said you love the Cowboys Navy jerseys, and I do too. The Cowboys jerseys that I own, that are Troy Aikman and Tony Romo, are that dark blue. I don't have any whites, but I'll just tell you a quick story. Derek the Duke Myers of television fame, fashion fame, and political fame, Derek Myers, is not with us anymore, but he was my dearest friend. And we were at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, watching the Dallas Cowboys. It was the game where Jason Garrett iced his own kicker. And we ended up losing, the Cowboys. If Garrett hadn't called the timeout, the kick went through the uprights. We'd have won the game. But, oh, no. Kick doesn't count. Your coach called the time. Our coach? Oh, we got a re-kick. Missed a kick, went to overtime, lost. Derek ripped off his white Deion Sanders number 21 Cowboys and threw it. And I'm like, oh, my God. Security guard picks it up, comes running up the stairs. I'm like, oh, we're done. We're going to hell for this one. We're going to the clinker. And the security guard goes, here, you dropped your jersey. I'm like, oh, it's a white one. Who wants that? Anyways, continuing with the Quick Six show topics. Now that Kevin's vacated, it is College Conference Championship weekend for those who celebrate and observe college football. There are several tonight. Kennesaw State. I point this out because Mike Kershaw is the general manager of Kennesaw State. To the longtime CFL fans, that name should mean something to you. His father, Phil Kershaw, was the chairman of the CFL Board of Governors, and he was the president in both Saskatchewan and Ottawa. His son, Mike, runs Kennesaw State. They play Jacksonville State tonight in the Conference USA Championship. Troy plays James Madison University in the Sun Belt Championship. UNLV plays Boise State in the Mountain West Championship, and UNLV may very well be Las Vegas's best football team. And also North Texas plays Tulane tonight in the American Athletic Championship. And I tell you what, I've told you I signed up for the yahoo.com newsletter. And in it today, it says, I feel like I should say this. I'm going to say that for next hour. We'll get more into college football then. By the way, have you signed up yet for the Rod Pedersen Show newsletter? Comes out every Sunday. It's brought to you by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Are you stuck for gift ideas? Suds gift cards, available online at our location or at Costco, are the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Visit sudsregina.com. I'm just rolling the Quick Six show topics from the warm-up into the sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone, and I will be stopping in this weekend to see Billy at Ultimate Fan Zone before I vacate the band city. Toronto, 0.5. Toronto looks to bounce back tonight, the Raptors, as they host Charlotte after falling 123-120 to the Lakers on a buzzer beater. I mean, I'm ready for the weekend by the time the weekend rolls around, usually. Because if you were watching this show yesterday, I was reading the sports wire that said, tonight's game will be lacking star power with Luka Doncic not playing for the Lakers at Toronto. Well, LeBron's still playing, which, by the way, LeBron's record streak of 1,297 straight double-digit point games ended last night in Toronto as he only had 8 points. I know we're not the basketball show, but come on, let's stop and recognize greatness for a second. The man had 10 or more points in 1,297 games. It dates back to January 5th, 2007. LeBron James brushed it off afterwards, saying the only thing that mattered was that they won. Is that not like the most remarkable streak of all time in sports? Not Ripken's, not Gretzky's, not 1,297 straight games with 10 or more points. What? And it ended in Toronto last night. Anybody that was there can say I was there the night LeBron's streak ended. Or like most people say they were, even though they weren't in today's world. But, oh, no, I heard on the radio I shouldn't go because Luka Doncic isn't playing. Which brings up our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. EMJ Marketing Elite Speakers Bureau, or if you were looking for a thrilling keynote speaker for your event, look them up, emjmarketing.com, and peruse the roster. The poll question is, who's the greatest NBA player of all time? Let me get this out and update it because it's been changing. Is it LeBron James, Kobe, MJ, or other? And, oh, hang on. The Wi-Fi just crapped out in here. My vote's MJ. I'm an MJ guy. Oh, yeah. Apparently, Earl, so are a lot of you. 89% of respondents are saying Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time, which we all know. I just thought with LeBron James being in the news, let's have an NBA question today. 89% say MJ, 7% say LeBron, 4% say other, and 0% say Kobe. But we're all Kobe fans, right? And I remember took the family to Los Angeles for a family vacation. We went to a Lakers game because our girls played basketball, and we were all excited. Got there early to the Staples Center to watch the Lakers play in Utah. And Kobe wasn't out on the floor for warm-up. So I asked an usher, I said, where's number 8? And she says, oh, Mr. Bryant doesn't warm up with the team. He comes in 3 hours before the game on his helicopter and warms up on his own. I've never seen that before, but it works. And I also remember the youngest going, Dad, it's not about the game. It's about the show. Welcome to the NBA. Joe Boney is watching in London, Ontario. He says, what stadium are you at, Rod? I'm actually not at a stadium at all. I'm in Golden Ticket Sports Center. It's basketball courts, clearly. Volleyball courts, batting cages, hockey shooting lanes, fitness gym, tennis courts, yoga studios. It's everything, man. And it's our second home. It's our Canadian home for the RP show. I love being here. Brent writes in, he says, Brent Patrician writes in, he's watching on the streaming. He says, I thought the Cowboys-Lions game was good. Close one until the fourth quarter. Could have gone either way. The Lions pulled it out, but I'm not gloating. Relieved is more like it. All game long, the Cowboys were settling for field goals, or at least when it mattered, and then it got away from them. I mean, obviously, we're looking at it. You're looking at it from your perspective. I'm looking at it from our perspective. Dak was not good. He was sacked 5 times. The defense was horrendous. And why? I just felt a shimmer in my chest. I said I wasn't going to allow the Cowboys to affect my mood or my physique. Thanks for bringing it up. In hour 2, Jim Barker will be with us, 5-time Grey Cup champion, and Joe 747 Gunnis with our Week 14 NFL picks for what's left. Stick around, everybody. We will be right back after this brief pause here on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
It's the last hour of the week, and I can promise you it's going to be great. A couple of our good friends coming up, Jim Barker, 5-time championship head football coach and general manager. Going to be coming up to talk football on a Football Friday on the RP Show on Game Plus TV and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Joe 747 Gunnis from the Ratio podcast will be joining us to take a look at Week 14 in the NFL with a little game show that we play called Deal or No Deal, where I give the betting lines for the NFL games. He decides, or whoever guessed that happens to be that Friday, if they take the bet or not. Presented by our friends at coolbet.com. It's also our last day here in the beautiful Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. And my guy Brent from Wellington, Florida's written in. He says, hey, Rod, the offer still stands, $50 US if you hit a three-pointer in the air. I'm actually very impressed that y'all could tell that this is not a green screen. I'm out here right on the court, and it's cool as hell. The second I walked in here 2 summers ago, I'm like, yes, I'm home. What a great place to do a sports talk show. And it's going to be a very busy hour. So let's get down to business here on Game Plus TV and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. We open with a quick 6 show topics with number 1. The big story, Week 14 in the NFL opened Thursday night, and it was forgettable for us in the Cowboys Nation. Jahmyr Gibbs ran for 3 touchdowns in the Detroit Lions' 44-30 win over Dallas. His last touchdown was a 13-yard run with just over 2 minutes left that sealed the victory. Detroit avoided losing consecutive games for the first time in more than 3 years. We've had Lions fans writing into the program, not trolling, really, to be clear on what they're saying. I don't really know what they're doing other than they've found the show, they enjoy the show, and they were saying, oh, you guys made us sweat in that one. No, we didn't. Just take your win and run along. The Dallas Cowboys were exposed. I just said they gave up 44 points at halftime, which I don't know how you all felt about this, but Kirk Herbstreit was referring to the head coach of the Cowboys as Shoddy. Well, it's his nickname, Brian Schottenheimer. But at halftime, Shoddy was asked why the offense couldn't work because they had to settle for field goal after field goal after field goal. I mean, tensing up in the red zone. Dak wasn't good. To be honest, I felt like tweeting. You can follow me on Twitter, at Rod Pedersen. That would be great. That Dak Prescott is not a $60 million quarterback. But then I'm like, I don't want to put the negativity out, and I'll just shut up. I don't want to be that guy. So I'm wearing my Cowboys jacket today. We're done. So I will say, congratulations, Lions. You look great. It's all the ebb and flow of what's wrong with the team. You know, what's what we were saying this week about the Detroit Lions. Why are they not the same team? Why are they on the outside of the playoff picture looking in 1 year after having 15 wins, the most in the NFL, or at least the NFC, because Kansas City had 15 last year too. Doesn't matter anymore. They humiliated the Dallas Cowboys on national television. We're taking our lumps. Can't say I was surprised. And we move on. And now you know the rest of the story. I will say, I was just talking to a buddy of mine that was down in Austin last weekend catching the Longhorns home game. I said, were they talking a lot about Landman down there in Austin? He goes, oh, everywhere you looked. Everything you heard, Landman. I'm like, yeah, same in Dallas. I was just there too. It's big, very big in Texas. The Paramount Plus streaming show, Landman. Probably my favorite show right now. By the way, the program is brought to you in part by Pump Jack Steakhouse and Saloon. They bring you our NFL picks weekly at rodpedersen.com. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Point 2 of the Quick 6 show topics. The potent Edmonton Oilers offense seems to be finding its rhythm. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl had 4-point games in a 9-4 rout of the Seattle Kraken. The Oilers have won 2 of their last 3. The Calgary Flames beat the Minnesota Wild 4-1 in an upset in the Saddle Dome. My picks sucked. I only had 3 of 10 right last night, but the more that I hear from the betting people, their NHL picks have sucked too. So it's been that kind of year. We've put this to bed, by the way. That's the great thing about daytime television that's live. We hear the rumors, we can check them out and substantiate or quash them, and that's what we did with the rumor that came out in the last 12 hours. that Dale Talon is in line to be the next general manager of the Vancouver Canucks. My good friend Dale Talon, the former GM of the Florida Panthers and Chicago Blackhawks, whom I see at every single Panthers game. Dale works for the Canucks. I felt like sending him a text, like he's a pro scout down there for the Canucks, but what's he going to say? He's employed by them. And then it was checked out, and Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet, who started the rumor apparently, he's like, no, I was just throwing his name out as a possibility. It's not happening. Dale Talon's not going. Doesn't matter that he's like 73 or whatever he is. He's a legendary Vancouver Canuck and a hell of a great guy, but I don't, from what it sounds like, he's not taking over the Vancouver Canucks. Somebody should. Point three, we'll split a couple of things. For the Canadian Football League fans, there was big news on Thursday. The Grey Cup winning Saskatchewan Roughriders re-signed their 39-year-old quarterback Trevor Harris to a one-year extension. And 73-year-old John Hufnagel, former offensive guru in the NFL with teams like Cleveland and New England, but really gained fame in the CFL, is going from Calgary to the Toronto Argonauts as an advisor, I believe is the term that they use. It's got everybody talking in the CFL. That's 3A. And point 3B is college football. It is conference championship weekend. I went through the games last hour. We're really getting down to the nitty-grit. And when Jim Barker joins us next, 20 minutes ain't going to be long enough because we got to talk about Lane Kiffin. And I kind of wanted to get into that with Kev last hour, Kevin the medium, but college football really isn't his thing. But that's fine because I felt like saying, you from 35,000 feet looking in on college football, is it as broken as it looks? And we've been talking about this over the past couple of days with you, the viewers, because we are the most interactive show on your telly. Maybe it ain't that broke. Ratings are up. Revenue's up. Everything's up. So Lane Kiffin broke some hearts. So Lane Kiffin left an entire football program hanging. They'll get over it. Maybe it's not that big a deal. Maybe it's not broken. I feel like it is, but I guess the fact that nobody can figure out how to fix it, it's literally there's a rattle under the hood in the truck, baby. Turn up the radio. Okay. Just ignore it. That's what everybody does. Number 14, Vanderbilt, reportedly explored the possibility of playing a 13th game this weekend in an effort to boost their odds of making the college football playoff. As it stands, the Commodores have next to no chance of making the 12-team field. And we got to talk to Coach Barker about that next because we got to these last few weeks and everybody thought that teams could put it in cruise control. Well, Vandy went like that in the last couple of weeks. Oh, James Madison is hiring former Florida head coach Billy Napier, who was fired midseason. Penn State is reportedly focused on Iowa State's Matt Campbell. So that all goes back to the coaching carousel. As we get ready for Sunday night's announcement, Selection Sunday of the college football playoff bracket, what is there? How many teams legitimately expect to hear their name? No, like 15? Everybody else is focused on their coaching staff and players as the transfer portal gets ready to open. By the way, have you signed up yet for the Rod Pedersen Show newsletter? It's free, and it's brought to you by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Who doesn't like free? Go to rodpedersen.com, click on newsletter, and sign up today. Drops every Sunday, where we talk about all of these things. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds' unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Check out their website at sudsregina.com. And by the way, they watch us every day in their lobby. So, hi, Kirby. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thanks for the support. Thursday Night Football, NHL, Hufnagel, college football. Point 5 is the NBA. Toronto looks to bounce back tonight against the Charlotte Hornets after falling 123-120 to the Lakers at Scotiabank Arena on a buzzer beater. LeBron James' record streak of 1,297 straight double-digit scoring games came to an end in Toronto. The viewers watching on Toronto-based Game Plus TV heard me say this last hour. The pundits were saying this game's going to be lacking star power. Luka Doncic is any game that LeBron James is playing in is worthy of going to. Period. End of story. And his streak ended last night. Can we ask? Oh, man, that would have been a great poll question. What is the most impressive streak in sports? Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak, Wayne Gretzky's point streak, which, forgive me, what is it, 1,890? I'm just throwing some records out there because there's some unbelievable records. But LeBron James, 1,297 straight games with 10 points or more. Like, I don't even know who's close to number 2. And that goes back to January 5th, 2007. This is a streak he's had going for 20 years. It ended in Toronto last night. And LeBron brushed it off afterwards, saying the only thing that mattered was the win. LeBron should probably get into politics when he's done. He'll do whatever he wants to do and do it well. Oh, and by the way, I was notified by our Vegas viewers. I did not know this, and Jim Barker might because he's lived in Las Vegas. I should have. I've never lived in Las Vegas. They're like, yeah, the Raptors are your show's NBA team, but our team in the Valley is in Las Vegas is the Phoenix Suns. So the Suns are at Houston tonight. I just mentioned the Raptors are home to Charlotte, and the closest team to me is the Miami Heat, and they're at Orlando tonight in the Battle of Florida, which nobody calls it. When you're looking for strategic communications with impact, Outlaw Communications delivers, led by Tony Plater with 35 years of communication and leadership experience. He specializes in media relations training, leadership coaching, and crisis communication strategy. Visit TonyPlater.com. That's Plater with a Y.com. I should tell you the text line is open, 902-518-3033. What did I tell you? It was going to be a busy show, and we've got a lot to get to. The poll question, I said I guess it should have been, what's the most impressive sports streak? What it actually is who's the greatest NBA player of all time? MJ, Kobe, LeBron James, or other. And the last I looked, 85% saying it's MJ. I feel like anybody of our generation and older would say Michael Jordan. But I don't know. Maybe there's that many people across all age groups feel that way. It's the correct answer, after all. Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, RP, college football got too big and now has professional sports problems. Which is what exactly? Lack of loyalty? I'm not arguing. I'm trying to put all of our ideas on the table here because what I'm seeing, covering a lot of, not covering, but following a lot of the college football periodicals, they're saying the suits screwed this all up. Nobody can figure out how to fix it. And I thought, well, why don't we talk about it? Why don't we come up with the solutions? Allie's watching in Texarkana. She writes in and she says, MJ is the GOAT in my book. Happy Friday, RP and squad. Yeah, it's the correct answer. I'm not a basketball guy. I thought maybe it would be a decent argument because I do know, having worked in football for so long, those guys love basketball too. And it was an argument that they would sit and talk about for hours and hours and hours. Kobe, LeBron, or MJ. MJ, LeBron, or Kobe. Oh, my guys, talk about something else. Jeff the Stamps fan says no one is catching Gretzky's assist total in our lifetimes. You're probably right, but that's what they said about the goals record too. Sea Lightning writes in and says Dale Talon of Chicago told another general manager he was tanking so he could get the number one draft choice. It worked. As years later, started winning Stanley Cups with Kane and Taves. You Googled that. It is funny when you listen to Brian Burke, which I didn't know he was involved in the Professional Women's Hockey League. I didn't know that at all. I just saw his name on something. We talked about the Penguins and their success. He's like, they won a freaking lottery. Yes, they did. And if you talk to Doug McLean, who's another hockey great and a friend of mine from South Florida, if you read his book, Draft Day, the Columbus Blue Jackets have never won the draft lottery, not once ever. Look at the teams that are good. Edmonton won the draft lottery multiple times. Pittsburgh, 3 Stanley Cups with Sid. Leafs, we won't go there. But yeah, it's not just luck, but it helps. 902-518-3033. You got questions for Jim Barker? Get them in now. 902-518-3033 or the YouTube streaming chat. And we'll be back in a moment. We're across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as across Canada and 32 U.S. states on Game Plus TV. Also YouTube live podcast and 1700 AM Mission Radio. We'll be right back.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada and across Canada on Game Plus TV. We're brought to you in part by CoolBet. Claim your welcome bet bonus up to $200 with a promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. Canadian viewers only. Sorry. Coach Barker joins us. Hey, Coach, it's a wonderful time in football, championship weekend in college football.
Oh.
Yeah. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start today?
Well, we got to start with the Lions game last night and the statement. I mean, I'm staring at your star there, and so I have to get that off my chest. You know, it's. I was feeling so good about the Cowboys. You know, 3 straight weeks they played with the physical tenacity that it takes to win in this league, and Jerry Jones looked like a genius with the Quinnen Williams and some of those guys that they brought in, you know, for Parsons, were starting to pan. And then last night, the Lions just physically beat the heck out of them. I mean, it was scary. I mean, it was 5 sacks on Dak. It was Jahmyr Gibbs having just unbelievable game, and the Lions basically physically saying you might be good, but you're not there yet. You're not ready yet to the Dallas people, and that was exciting. That was it was again one of those things I thought was a statement game, which the NFL has a few this week. You know, somebody has to win that AFC. I don't know, some direction with the Steelers and the Ravens.
Yep.
It's north, south, east, or west. I don't know what it is.
AFC North, yeah.
AFC North. Somebody has to win that division. You got 2 500 teams. In this year, with some teams playing out of their head, the Bears at 8-3, the Patriots, you got teams playing unbelievable. You got 2 6-6 teams, and one of these teams is going to make the playoffs. I mean, it's the division champions, and, you know, they talk in the CFL about eliminating the divisions and the best teams play. I haven't heard that in the NFL, that maybe we got too many divisions. We're going to have a mediocre team making the playoffs that wouldn't otherwise make it if they were in any other division. And, I think that's kind of interesting. So that should be an interesting game. But the big one this weekend, go ahead.
No, number one, that happens in every league. And it happens every year in the NFL. Like Carolina could win the NFC. A bad team's going to win the NFC South. Tampa Bay keeps winning. Used to be the AFC South, but now there's some good teams in the AFC South. But here's one, Cleveland, Tennessee. That is the train wreck that you can't not watch. Like, everybody's interested in what the Browns are going to do. It's a terrible matchup.
I cannot watch it. I'm one of those people who am happy to say, I can tell you one game I won't be watching is that game. I know Shedeur Sanders will be a quarterback, but I have zero interest in watching the Tennessee Titans, and it doesn't matter who they play, the Cleveland Browns. But the Bears-Packers, I mean, the Bears are the number 1 team in the NFC right now, going ahead of the Rams after their loss. That to me is just mind-blowing, what Ben Johnson has done. And he's come in and instilled that physical nature into the Bears. And when they went into Philadelphia and beat them the way they did, people have to understand how impressive that was. We talked about it on the show last week, that this is going to be, we're going to find out, will the real Bears please stand up? And they may have. They may have, because that was a great one. Now they get the Packers, and I believe it's in Green Bay. I'm not positive on that.
It is.
But that's another tough to go. Philadelphia, Green Bay back-to-back, and they come out of that with 2 wins. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with all the way to the end. I mean, that to me is the game of the weekend, is the Bears and Packers. First one was last night, but the Bears and Packers in the NFL, again, the Steelers and Ravens, I'll look for the result. But it's hard for me to watch these teams that are just bad. I shouldn't say bad. They're just not. They're not exciting the way they're playing.
I feel like it's a two-horse race for Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson. And Ben, in what he's done in Chicago or even in New England with Vrabel, they're poster boys for that. You should fire a coach if you're losing, because these two guys have proved they can turn a program around. Unless there's something I'm missing, right away.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And they're young coaches that, again, Vrabel, second time around, a lot of times, I don't know if people remember, but Bill Belichick's first, not counting the Jets where he was only there for a day, but when he was with the Browns, and then when he went to the Patriots, everything fell in place for him. Vrabel goes to the Titans, which has become the graveyard of coaches, and, they've basically stayed where they are. Mike Vrabel moves on, and he's shown what kind of coach he is. And, he's got, he has Drake May. I hate to say fall in his lap, but the Drake May, Josh McDaniels connection between coordinator and quarterback, you couldn't go out and find a better Tom Brady type guy than Drake May. You just can't. I mean, you want to talk about a match made in heaven? You put Drake May on the Browns, you think he would be what he is today? I don't know. I don't know. It's guys getting with we talk about it when we talk about the draft. It's players getting connected with coaches that make things work. That's why college football is becoming more and more fascinating. It's going to be, if Trinidad Chambliss is going to go with Kiffin, which surprised me, Kim going to LSU. But, it's fascinating to watch players matched with coaches. And Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, and Drake May is like a rerun back to the last 15 years when the Patriots had Tom Brady. I mean, I can't think of another quarterback in the NFL right now who's more like Tom Brady than Drake May.
And as you say that, I think imagine if Shedeur went to New England, but then I'm like, they wouldn't draft him in the first place. Viewer C Lightning writes in and says, Jim Barker, always entertaining and knowledgeable. Yes, he is. Jim's made for TV, and he doesn't even know it, but we won't tell him that. On the college thing, by the way, let's get into that. I think you saw what I was saying earlier. Like, is it broken?
I didn't see.
Okay, well, I just said everybody says college football is broken, and I'm sitting here going, actually, a viewer said it. They're like, is it? Making more money than ever. More people watching than ever. Yeah, and I'm kind of enjoying. I'm in Canada for a week. I'm here for work, and I'm kind of okay with getting out of South Florida because all, and I mean all, they're talking about is Lane Kiffin. It was a nice break, but I mean, leaving your team in the middle, something is wrong. Unless you don't think that there's something wrong with college football right now.
Well, there's something drastically wrong with it, and they have to change their whole calendar thing to get it right, because a team who is in the playoffs should be able to have their coach through the season, through their whole season. And if that means you got to change your rules so you don't do the early window and portal and all that stuff in December, you put it off until your season's over. So the first portal will be a week after maybe the season ends. Those are the kind of changes they need to make, because a coach should be able to stay with his team through the thing without having to, it wasn't just, I'll tell you, when Lane Kiffin said if they're not on the plane, which I don't think he said that, that was a Nick Saban thing. You either get on the plane if you want to go from Michigan State to LSU, or you're not going to have a job. Well, I don't think he said that. But, the kind of position that puts assistant coaches in is difficult. They know something's coming up, but they still have, decisions to make that are not as cut and dried. Who's the new coach going to be at where I'm at, and who's it? So making those decisions takes time. So, again, the Lane Kiffin decision, I think it was really tough for him. And I went through the Mike O'Shea, Winnipeg or Toronto decision with him. We talked 2.5 hours, and at the end of it, I had no idea what he was going to do. because they are tough decisions. I believe Lane Kiffin didn't know exactly for sure what he was going to do. Now, the AD says he thinks Lane knew all along he was going to go to LSU. And his reasoning is interesting because he's going to get $30 million NIL at LSU as opposed to $15 million at Ole Miss. But if he went to Ole Miss and said, I need to get this up around at least maybe 25 mil, does he stay? And was that even a factor? I don't know. But those decisions are not easy for coaches, and I've been involved in that, and as an assistant, you always forget about the assistants, and they have families, and the head coach, he's going to make his money, and I just don't believe that he left for money. I really don't. I don't believe it was his salary. He says it was for the players' salaries, that he was doing it for the players. Well, the players at Ole Miss don't think he was doing it for the players.
Oh, give me a break. But you hear a million things, and some pundit who I respect said, yeah, Lane said LSU's the best coach or best place in college football, but he really wants to go to Alabama. We all want to believe what we're told, what the guys staying at the podium's telling the truth. But, Jim, they very rarely ever are. I'm sorry to tell you there's no Santa Claus, but I don't know. I can't believe what Lane Kiffin says. I mean, would you hire Lane Kiffin if you were an AD and you had unlimited resources? Would you hire him?
I don't know. That's an unfair question because a lot of it would depend on. There's a lot of things that go into it. I think certain coaches are right for certain places. I think Lane Kiffin was right for Ole Miss, and I know Pete Carroll told him your dad would tell you to go. Now that had to have been powerful to him. Now how Pete Carroll knows that, I know Pete and Monty worked together. They knew each other a long time, and again, there's reasons that we don't know about, that we'll never know about. Could be all kinds of things. He made his decision because it was right for him, and he earned the right to make that decision. And you can't get mad at Lane Kiffin for doing something that he feels is right, that he earned. And it would be like if ESPN called you and they said they wanted to put you on, a prime time thing, and you have your great thing going, and you have to tell those people, this is better for me. Now, again, people can say, wow, they gave you so much. But you get those decisions. You would have earned that. So that's the way I look at coach, because I look at it as a coach, as they earn the right to make that decision. The rules can protect, and that's what has to happen is the NCAA's got to step in. Like, I'll tell you another problem with this. So we got Indiana playing Ohio State tomorrow, 1-2. That feels like a national championship game.
Yes, it does.
But in reality, it really doesn't mean they're both going to be in the top 4, as they should be. You got the two best teams in the country playing for what? And then what is going to come out of that game? A Big Ten champion. But if Indiana wins and Ohio State wins a national championship, nobody's going to ever remember this game. It was like Michigan beating them last year. That's the thing. That's the thing about the playoff system, that there's some teams are playing these games, and I know Sark is making the big pitch for Texas, that Texas has played tough games, and I agree with that. And if you punish for that, teams aren't going to do that. They're going to play like that. That week we had 2 weeks ago where Auburn was playing Mercer and Alabama was playing Pine Bluff. It was worthless. It's worthless. It completely lose interest. So you want those great games, but if you want those great games, you have to say, okay, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. So again, it's Alabama plays Georgia this week. Big game for Alabama. Georgia, they're number 3 right now, but they lose to Alabama, they'll drop out of that bye week. I think they might move somebody else in. That would be so. That makes those games intriguing. but they also are like the Indiana Ohio State game to me is the one that I really shrugged my shoulder because I'm excited to watch it. But it's like I'm watching the national championship game here. This is it. This is the top two teams in the country.
Yeah, and in the case of Sark politicking for Texas, their first game was against OSU, as you remember, and Arch Manning looked awful. And I'm like, Sark, maybe don't go in like to a season with a first-time starter. I mean, you have to, but this is, to me, it's more on Arch than it is on anybody else. Hey,
Ohio State had Julian Saying.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I was thinking about the OSU defense, but where is it here? Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, happy for Quantez Stiggers getting Pro Bowl consideration.
Yes.
He's been fantastic as a special teams gunner for the Jets. What are your CFL notes here in the last few minutes?
Well, Quantez Stiggers first. What a great story. I mean, John Jenkins was running this league down there, the fan control football league, and called me and said, hey, we got this guy. So I talked to Vince Magri and Michael Clemens about him. They signed him, and then I ended up with the team that year and watched Quantez grow as a pro in the CFL. And it really does get you to think when the NIL, they can make a lot of money, but growing as a player, watching Quantez Stiggers in 1 year go from being a guy who was playing fan-controlled football, playing the CFL, and then you make an NFL roster, and now you're up for a Pro Bowl, that's pretty special. And he's a special young man, 21 years old, I think, and not everybody can go to college. College isn't for everybody, and maybe this is something that the NFL will look at. But CFL notes? Okay, I'm going to give you one. Okay? And this one's a kind of a shocker, and nobody knows, so you're breaking it. I am going back to the Toronto Argonauts.
What? I didn't know that.
Has it ever been done like this?
No. Tell us the news.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and John Hufnagel is already, he's going to be for Michael, kind of a personal and helping with those and I'm going to basically head up the personnel department. So
oh my gosh.
I will get get some new people. And, the thing I love most is watching guys like Vince Magri go to the Bills and Chris Rossetti go to the Giants now, and Curtis Ruckabina, Matt Houston, 4 guys, Canadian guys that are now in NFL front offices. That to me is and I get to do that again. So for me, it's really exciting. I haven't even talked to you yet. I told Corey I'm not going to say anything on this show about it because I wouldn't do that to Rod. But you know what? I'm going to do it.
I'm glad
to
you did.
And we'll talk this week about the future.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so happy. And I know it's recent. This is a recent development. So congratulations, Jim.
I have not signed the contract.
Oh, so should we not tell anybody?
No, it's right outside. I'm going to sign it. It's done. I'm signing it.
Good. We got a roll. We're going here. Well, what a wonderful way to end the week, Jim. Congratulations on that. Keep in touch, please, and enjoy the football. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thanks, Roddy.
Jim Barker of the Toronto Argonauts. How about that? Again, joining us on a Football Friday. Oh, boy. Whew, I just got some tingles there. What a great way. We got gas on the show today. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video. so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The RP Show continues. How about that breaking news? I was just trying to tweet it before being so rudely interrupted by producer Corey. I kid, Cor. Jim Barker joining the Toronto Argonauts in the personnel department. Hey, Joe Gunnis Jones says, how you doing, Joe? 747 Gunnis.
A beautiful day to be around the jaw.
Yes, it's a beautiful day to talk football. It's a beautiful day to be alive. We'll talk about the Jim Barker news in a second. You're here to play Deal or No Deal NFL style for Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Steakhouse and Cool Bet. Are you ready to rock?
Let's go.
All right, the deal, what it is, folks. Joe Gunnis from the Ratio podcast, by the way. I give him the betting lines for the NFL games of the week. He tells us whether he's going to take the bet or not. AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens favored by 5.5. Are you taking the deal or not?
No deal for me.
No deal. I am absolutely taking the deal because the Ravens are hot with Lamar back. The Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Seahawks favored by 7. Deal or no deal?
Deal for sure.
Me too. The Toilet Bowl. Tennessee at Cleveland. The Browns are favored by 4. Who are you taking?
I think we got to go with the Browns, but that's a toss-up.
Even Moose, the biggest Titans fan I know, says, take the Browns. Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Another Toilet Bowl. The Finns favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Me too. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers favored by 8 in that NFC South match. Deal or no deal?
No deal. TB.
Ooh, I'm taking the deal. The Bucs can win against crappy teams, and the Saints are crappy. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. AFC South match. Colts favored by 1.5. This is a sneaky good game. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
No deal from Joe. By the way, I'm taking a deal on all of them so far. Your Washington Commanders at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikes are favored by 1.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal for me. Got to go Washington.
With your team. With your team. Yeah. That's why am I wearing a Cowboys jacket today? Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills favored by 5.5 in that AFC clash. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
You taking the deal? Yeah. I will too, but it's tough with what Joe Burrow did to the Ravens last week. But I'll take the deal. The Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. AFC West clash there. Denver favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
Oh, I think you got to take the deal.
Yeah, I would have taken it if it was double that. The Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Jim Barker says it is the game of the week. Green Bay favored by 6.5. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to say no deal. I like the Bears. I like what the Bears are doing. I think they're bought into the coach. I think good things happen there.
No deal from me too, dog. It's the first one that I'm not going with. Rams at Cardinals. LA favored by 8.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Me too. Houston at Kansas City. Chiefs favored by 3.5. This would be a great game too. Deal or no deal?
I'm taking the deal. I think experience wins out here.
Me too. And lastly, Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles at the LA Clippers. Eagles favored by 2.5 at LA. Deal or no deal?
No deal. No deal for me.
Yeah, no deal from me either. We got about 90 seconds. Did you know that Jim Barker was going to drop the news? You represent Jim Barker on the speaking side. He's going to the Argos. Did you know he was going to drop it today?
I did not know. So that's news to breaking on the RP show.
How do you feel about that for JB? He's quite a guy.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's great for their organization. I don't think he gets the credit that's due. Extremely knowledgeable, knows the game inside and out, and I knows how to win. I mean, he's showed it. 5-time Grey Cup champion, knows how to win.
Congratulations to Jim Barker, a close personal friend of both Joe's and mine. A hell of a great guy, and he loves Moose Jaw. Jim Barker, I'll throw that in as well. Jim, thanks. Joe, thanks for playing dealer. Thanks for playing Deal or No Deal with us.
Thanks for having me on, Rod. It's always fun.
Hang on, everybody. We'll be coming right back with the final segment of the week, Overtime, in a moment. Last chance to get your questions and comments in 902-518-3033 or the streaming YouTube chat. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody, for Overtime, proudly brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Stop in and see what they got going on with their 12 Days of Christmas promotion, where they are benefiting various Calgary charities in this holiday season. Well, one thing about this show, Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, he says, this has to be one of the RP show highlights of 2025. One thing about this show, you never know what's going to happen. Both good and bad. Mostly good. Wayne writes in from Winnipeg. He says, congrats, Coach. Good to see you back in the CFL. Hope you're still a pipeline to all football news on shows like Rod's. Wait, just realized we might lose him. No. First I thought of that. We'll see. Sea Lightning writes in and says, Barker will help save the Argos. Well, we'll see. Sea Lightning says, take that, 3 Down Nation. ×2. Word. Here's your sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. The draw ceremony for the 2026 FIFA World Cup is underway at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. A record 48 teams will take part in this summer's tournament. U.S. President Donald Trump is also attending the event, as are President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Brazil was the first team drawn from the pot of top seeds and goes into Group C, an East Coast pool where the 5-time champions' first 2 games could be in Foxborough. The detailed schedule will be announced Saturday. Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels will start Sunday at Minnesota after missing 3 games with a dislocated left elbow. Daniels got hurt in the final minutes of Washington's 38-14 home loss against Seattle November 2nd. Detroit Lions safety Brian Branch tore his left Achilles tendon against the Cowboys last night. Tests revealed the significant injury, and the team announced it this morning. Branch was hurt late in Detroit's 44-30 win over Dallas. And again, the sports updates are brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone. It's the greatest sporting merchandise store I've ever been in. And that's a fact. Visit them online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Peruse their inventory. They got all the latest and greatest NHL jerseys in there. Give them a follow on social media. That's where I saw all the jerseys are there. Get them while they're hot. I didn't mention that Overtime is... I know I mentioned that it's brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes. What I didn't tell you is look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes if you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot. With state-of-the-art shooting lanes, top-notch equipment, it's the ultimate training destination for players of all ages. and skill levels. Check them out at 28th Street East, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Ron in Calgary. I felt like there was a real Calgary pull today. I do love that city. Ron in Calgary writes in. He says, great show, Rod. When rebuilding a team and having success, it sometimes takes longer than us fans want. Look at these teams that technically should be way better. Edmonton, Vancouver, Ottawa. I'm going to enjoy the next 2 years. Signed, Flames fan. What about them? What about them? I'm teasing you, Ron. I'm glad that you're going to enjoy the Flames rebuild. Hey, you got two choices, right? You're picking the positive one. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hey, Rod, does this mean when Barker officially signs with the Argos that he will no longer be on Football Friday? I never thought about that. You all made me think of that. You just saw it live on air. You just saw a glimpse of how my mind thinks. The very last thing I thought of was how it affects me. I was like, good for you, Jim. That was the very first thing I thought of. And the reason I knew that it was a new development was because I was talking to a football friend, I won't say whom, just within the last couple of weeks. And he said that Jim was not in football, let's put it that way. And they'd been talking. Well, he is now. As of today, he's signing that deal and sending it back to the Argos. Hey, Robert in Medicine Hat, thank you for this. He's never written in before. If I may call you Robert. He says, good morning, Rod. Oh, he says Bob. Bob from Medicine Hat. I always enjoy your show immensely. Have a great day, Rod. That came in at, an hour ago. I hope you're still watching, Bob. And thank you for the kind words. Bob in Medicine Hat. As I say, positivity wins, or it should. He says, always enjoy your show immensely. Have a great day. You know how nice it is for somebody to take the time to just send a simple text with a positive note? That's what the good people do. Here's your note. Think about this for a while, for the weekend, or at least the rest of the day. If somebody tries to make you feel bad, they got to go. You're welcome. Free of charge. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta, writes and he says, the snows are coming. Not for me. Saturday, I will be in Lanigan, Saskatchewan at a sports banquet, having a great time with Mark Mueller and Luke Mullender of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then let's just say that everything is going to go according to plan as I climb on that United Airlines jet. I'm just saying in terms of the connection through Denver. It ain't easy to get from Saskatchewan to Florida. There ain't a lot of direct flights. I'm just going to put that out there. Travel was a lot easier when I was spending all that time in Arizona. And for that matter, even Las Vegas. But you know what? People plan and God laughs, and we're just 8 billion people hanging on this big ball as it spins around every day. Thank you, producer Corey, for a great week. We've solved a lot this week, Corey, if you've noticed. We have, not just me. We have. We're a team around here. Sea Lightning says, when Rod's show ends, I always have a smile and it makes the rest of the day better. What, because it's over? I know what you mean. On Monday, we'll be back on the air, but from Florida. So be good to yourself, everybody, because if you're not, nobody will. Here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
That.